Time once again for On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn along with our producer Corey Marino, but the stars of our shows are two gentlemen that made a name for themselves in the NFL and beyond, and they do it continually every week here. Talking about Jackie Slater, number 78, the offensive lineman extraordinaire, Hall of Famer for the Los Angeles Rams, and Vince Ferragamo, number 15, one of the great stars of Super Bowl 14, along with Jackie, and of course played for the Cornhuskers and the Golden Bears and the Rams, and the list is going to go on too long here. We might run out of time. But welcome to the show, Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing good. How are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good.
We're doing good. And look at Corey, our producer, with his Broncos shirt on there, Jackie, the bright orange, man.
He might as well celebrate.
They're proud right now, but Bo Nix being out. Oh,
yeah,
God,
he might as well enjoy being a Bronco
playoffs.
Playing in a championship game while he can. Because
boy.
according to you and all the numbers that you presented to him, he doesn't have a snowball chance.
Oh, we're disagreeing. No, it's good to disagree, right?
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah.
See both
See,
sides.
look at the shirt carefully. There's a fracture line on the cuff right there to kind of sympathize with Bo Nix.
There actually is a fracture line.
Wow.
Gentlemen, those were some playoff games this last weekend. For the most part, other than the 49ers in Seattle, they were something else, weren't they?
They were.
Divisional games. And then how about those playoffs with the overtime games, Jackie?
NCAA, huh?
They're
Do that
deferring
one
the
too.
coin flip, and then they go on to actually lose the game. The guys who won the toss.
You guys were there. You guys played in playoff games. Are you tuning it up a little bit more? Start with you, Vince. You kind of crank it up a little bit more?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, Mike, it's you lose, you go home. So it just really that creative incentive, Jackie, to go out and play your best and be at the top level, prepare the games. I mean, you see so much going into this with coaching and players. It's just an amazing way to finish the season.
Mike,
Jackie, you look like a guy that would not want to go home.
I didn't want to go home. Mike, you don't play the game, as I was saying, you don't play the game not to win. You play the game to win. And in addition to winning, you want everything that comes along with it. Playoff games, standing and everything. And when you get to this point where you're playing in these big games and you fail, it's like one of the worst feelings you could have. It's very, very empty.
Well, we're going to find out more on today's episode here. Don't forget our website, onpointlive.net. Email us onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. Our sponsors, harmonycheese.com, the delicious, wonderful cheese from Green Bay. Vince played there. He knows. But it's national, harmonycheese.com. Welcome back to On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn along with our producer Corey Marino. The stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. I got to tell you, we had some great games. We want to remind everybody, our sponsor, HarmonyCheese.com, remind you, go to their website, order the cheese. If you're a first-time person at the website, put down the code CRN Talk. You get 10% off your order. That's HarmonyCheese.com, HarmonyCheese.com. When you check out, put down the code CRN, like Championship Radio Network, CRN Talk, and you get yourself 10% off your order. All right,
and it's worth it. It's worth it.
You love that cheese, Jackie. You
Without doubt.
chime in. You're the first one always to get that Abergelli cheese.
See, and see, that's problematic for me because I was just telling Vince about me trying to snap up the pants on this suit that I wanted to wear today. I put on a few pounds.
Nice.
Eating
good.
that cheese, I'm going to have to cut back.
thing.
I'm going to have to cut back, Benny.
You got that
Not burning
extender,
enough calories.
Jackie?
What's that?
You got that extender like they use for shirts with the neck extender?
No, I don't have an
have one there
extender.
for the belly
I'm going
extender.
to have to get me some 4-inch extenders.
Or suspenders. How about you, Vince? You're always coiffed very nicely there out in the fields. You wear a suit, I can't believe this, at your vineyards. Vince, everybody, has vineyards at his house over there, and you manicure those things to the tooth, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we're getting ready to
dente.
do some pruning and getting ready to get these grapes ready for next year, Mike. But it's that time of year. You know, you're preparing yourself for spring, but man, we're still right in the middle of football. And this is like I have to let those things take a back seat right now because this is too interesting.
You've seen a lot of seasons,
involved.
guys. Has this been one of the best playoff seasons of all time?
It's the most exciting. I mean, even in the first week of the wild card games was just came right down to the wire.
Yeah.
Teams winning, lead changes back and forth, not determinant.
Competitive games.
In 2 minutes
Really
of the game?
Yeah, competitive games is what you want to see. You know,
Right.
when you get into the playoffs, you shouldn't be in the playoffs getting blown out. That should never happen.
Yeah.
It should be a strategic game where fans are looking and saying, man, that coach did this, that coach did that to counter that. And it should be, all of that excitement should be not just around the players, but watching the coaches do what they do best.
It's just more memorable, Jackie,
Yes,
when it comes down
much
to
more
one
memorable.
play that you can talk about. Did you see that play that made the difference of that game?
And then you talk about the situation in which the play occurred.
How
and that
it
just
happened.
blows it out of the water, man. That's what I like about
I
this
like
time
to
of
watch
year.
the games on TV and have a couple of my friends and producer that go ahead and make comments about the games. And maybe it's not such a good playoff season because there's a lot of comments that go back and forth. Did you see that call? I can't believe the coach made that move there. So let's start with college then, shall we?
Right.
That's the most recent game in our memories here. And that's the national championship game. What a game that
What a
was.
game.
Indiana 27, Miami 21.
What a
Start with
game.
you, Jackie Slater.
It was an unbelievable game, and it's just something about leadership to me that I had 5 different head coaches, and to see a leader of men, regardless of what age they are, make decisions and say things and do things that impacts his team is beautiful. I mean, Signetti, I love that guy. I don't know him. I've never met the man, but when asked why would people play for you, why are people coming here, he said, because I win. He said it with confidence, and the guys that playing for him, Vince, many of those guys have been turned down at other places, didn't get scholarship offers, and then even the quarterback won the national championship in his own backyard against a team that didn't even allow him to walk on. That was the beautiful thing about that, is that seeing an underdog situation like that was beautiful to me.
Jackie, let's get back in that time capsule and go back some years to Jackson State University in Mississippi.
Oh my.
How was your college playing days? Give us the background.
Listen. I was fortunate enough to play with 2 of the most dynamic football players I've ever been around at any other time, Walter Payton and Robert Brazile. And these guys were big-time competitors. And our head coach had actually played in the National Football League as a running back, Bob Hill. And so when we went against schools like Grambling or Southern or Mississippi Valley State, where Jerry Rice came out of, those were big-time games for us. And those stands, though they didn't have 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 people, they were packed. There was no place to sit. And they meant the world to us at the end of the year when there was something on the line, bragging rights or an opportunity to be the champion, the SWAC champion or the co-champion. And that's what it was. We lived for those type of games, and our opponents did too. And that made for some very, very special football and great memories for me, Vince.
Let's get over to number 15, Vince Ferragamo, because, Vince, I want your thoughts on this most recent game, but let's go back in the time machine. You played on the Golden Bears and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Those are fighting words if you go into Oklahoma, let me tell you right now. What were those days like in college?
Well, those rivals were the best of all time, and that's what I miss most about the realignment of some of these conferences nowadays. You see UCLA and USC playing in the Big Ten. They were the Pac-10.
Yeah.
And, you look forward to playing your crosstown rival at the end. In Nebraska, it was Oklahoma. Every year, that was usually for the championship, and who's going to go to the Orange Bowl or the Rose Bowl. But nowadays, it's different. But as Jackie mentioned, that preparation of college prepares you to go beyond, and it prepares you for life in many ways. He played with some of the greatest players of all time, but they gave it their all, and that's what made them the quality people they are today, and then go on to have successful pro careers. And we see that today in college too. And so much of it is coaching, Mike, that Jackie mentioned about Kirk Signetti in this championship game, how some of the players that he acquired were misfits or guys that were walk-ons that didn't even have scholarships, and they come out to win the Heisman Trophy, like Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
And I watch him as a quarterback, and his prolific passing, Jack, his accuracy is so mind-boggling, because the player running the route, the receiver, knows when he turns around where the ball is going to be without any hesitation.
Like those back shoulder throws that he was making to the wide receiver that was also a cast-off from someplace else.
Charlie Becker was a
Yes.
sophomore, and he was a cast-off too as well, Jackie. And those guys go on. But like Jackie said, interviewing him after the game and listening to him, I knew he was a winner right when he took over this program, but especially in the playoffs when they played Ohio State in the tunnel, when they had a close-up of him getting ready to take the field to play the Buckeyes in this championship playoff game. He was so calm and so aggravated to go out and just defend whatever he had to do, and it didn't matter. That's the guy you want to coach with and be on his team.
You want him to coach you too. You want him to coach
I'm
you.
telling you, he was, and then interviewing at halftime, asking about those late hits, he goes, come on, man, let's just call this thing fair. If they want to play that way, we'll play that way.
He felt like there were some missed calls in the game, and it's getting more and more like the pros all the time. And I thought there were about 3 different calls of holdings and whatever that happened during the game there, and Signetti was wondering why they weren't called.
How tough was the quarterback, Mike? When after they handed the ball off to Love running the ball, who had a great game as well, he got chipped in the chin, ripped his lip, was bleeding at the mouth, and he was tough. That's what he needs. He needs that hit to get going.
One of the things, Vince, you and I, we're sitting here sharing this with Mike right now. But one of the things, Mike, to confirm what Vince and I are saying, when you look at a fledgling National Football League franchise like the Raiders are right now, and you see standing on the sidelines at the practices and at the games, and you look over there and you see the best football player of all time, Tom Brady, and the owner of the Oakland Raiders standing there watching everything that's going on, not only with Signetti, but with the young quarterback, that tells you something special is going on there. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if I didn't see that quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
And
being drafted.
Being drafted number 1 overall, or at least, trading him out and getting a bunch of picks. But I got a funny feeling they want him on that.
Well, Tom Brady would know better than anybody how accurate he is as a thrower and what type of quarterback he is, and a leader. Mm-hmm. He's a leader of men because he plays for your team, not just for himself.
That's right, and he said that.
He said he gave it. He
had to dive in the end zone. He said, "I had to give my body up for the team."
That's it, man.
That's the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy I want leading me as an offensive line.
His faith is base. He's got his feet on the ground there. He's got handicaps going on in his family. This guy, quarterback Fernando Mendoza, is the guy to keep an eye on. We're going to take a break, and we come back with a little bit more here on the championship game, and then we'll get into the NFL and talk about specifically this weekend's games and see what you think. In the meantime, please check out Harmony Cheese. Their website is available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll put cheese boards together, get you ready for the Super Bowl and all big games. HarmonyCheese.com. They ship anywhere in the United States. Get some cheese today. HarmonyCheese.com. Check out our website, OnPointLive.net. Welcome back to On Point Live. Don't forget, Harmony Cheese, our big sponsor. We want you to get to their website, harmonycheese.com. Enjoy some great cheese there. Maybe a little Abergele, that pepper cheese that Vince Ferragamo likes, the stars of our show.
Six pepper cheddar.
Cheese. So does Jackie like it too. Jackie Slater, Vince Ferragamo, they're the stars of our show. Our producer is Corey Marino. I'm Michael Horn. So, gentlemen, this was a great playoff game here with Indiana and Miami, 27-21. One point here that I want to bring up, and that was you mentioned the coach there was Signetti was complaining about some of the calls, and our producer before the show started was saying, "Hey, Bo Nix is out. What happens with the quarterback for Seattle, Sam Darnold, if he gets injured and can't play?" Will calls go a different way for a different team to make the Super Bowl look a little better than it could be if you had backup quarterbacks? Your thoughts on that, Vince Ferragamo?
That's a bizarre theory.
Corey brought it up, and I repeated it because I like it.
Conspiracy for sure, but, it's like... like who shot JFK? I mean, we're talking about this kind of stuff because people bet the games.
Did you hear the word that he said, Vince?
What's it?
He said there's a lot of money going on. Now, first of all, Mike, let me answer that question by saying this. I would like to think, in my history in association with the National Football League, the unscrupulous behavior that you just described would never come to be a reality.
And I would be the same.
I remember at the end of my career, one of the first jobs I got was with ESPN, and I was offered an opportunity to stop through Dallas to do a fantasy football show at that particular time, and I would have made a significant amount of money to do it. I was excited about it, but I was denied the opportunity to do that because it was so closely related to gambling.
Yeah.
Now, gambling has become a reality in the National Football League now, and I think that with the National Football League, with everyone that's participating in this, all of these former players and everything, there has got to be an understanding. There has never can be any claims of cheating or fixing or any of that going on. Because if they do, it's going to end what we're seeing right now with the gambling part of this business.
Hold on a second now. Yeah. Let's look at basketball and a little point shaving that's been going on here recently. Well, an investigation's been going on there. Your thoughts about that?
Not only has it been going, the investigation been going on, but they have been coming down very hard on the people who participated in these felonious activities. Yet there's no way you can enjoy these games and allow betting to go on and have cheating at the same time. To me, it just the whole system would collapse, and that'd be the end.
Yeah, Jackie, you can't lose the credibility of the game.
Absolutely.
Because the most important thing for owners and everyone to acknowledge is the fact that you need to continue to put the best product and a good product on the field or on the court so that you can buy tickets to go watch the game. Right. If you lose that credibility, it'll all become a disaster.
Yeah, it'll become a
disaster.
I
mean, you got to be very careful what you do.
So for anyone that would think that ownership or anyone in administration at a team would deliberately go and build their interests into the reality of gambling, that is unfathomable to me. Having played in the NFL as long as I did, and they want to keep these games. They're going to do everything they can to keep these games fair and keep the referees above board at all times, because the first time something like that happens, then we got major problems in the sport, and certainly with the betting part of
it. This was your NFL game day announcer. It was 46 years ago this week that an amazing producer, Corey Marino, was dressing to go to a Super Bowl game.
How about that?
Corey, what did you say, and what did you say?
So, January 20th, 1980, for Super Bowl 14, the Rams unfortunately lost to the Steelers, 31-19. But these two gentlemen, these fine gentlemen right here, played in it, and we're in that season, so it was breaking news.
46 years ago, Vinny. 46 years ago, I was in my fourth year. You were in your third.
That's it.
I was in my first year as a starting right tackle, and you had come off the bench about midway that season and passed us actually directly into the playoffs.
Man, we were a together team, though.
Yeah, we were. we were.
And 46 years. I'm in my third rocking chair and a shawl, I'm telling you right now. What was it like, Vince? What was it like, Vince Ferragamo, Jackie Slater? Start with you, Vince.
Oh, no, it was one of the thrills of your career, actually, to play in the Super Bowl game. And we played it at home here at the Rose Bowl, which was in front of 103,000. So one of the largest crowds in Super Bowl history. But, we played the Pittsburgh Steelers. And when you get ready to play a team of that caliber, it's the best team of all time. Right. And they'd been in the Super Bowl 3 years prior. And so it was we were a young team. We were well mixed. We had a great defense, a great offensive line. We had a team to actually pull it out. We had the lead in the fourth quarter, didn't we, Jackie?
But we didn't get the breaks. With 11 minutes to go in the game, we actually had the lead. The thing that I remember was how fast that game went by. Yeah. Because I'm walking to the line of scrimmage, and there's L.C. Greenwood, the great Pittsburgh Steeler.
And Mean Joe Green.
Joe Green sitting right next to him, and I got to do blocking with Dennis Hare and combination blocks and one-on-one blocking. I'm telling you right right now that I was a nervous wreck going into that game. Didn't settle down until the first contact, Vince, and after that I was in my element, and I'm saying, okay, this is just football here.
When we ran them over with Cullen Bryant scoring that first touchdown, that gave us the belief that right now let's go get these guys.
We had some good movement at the point of
Wendell
attack.
Tyler making some great runs back
Tyler
there. And Lawrence McCutcheon throwing the touchdown
to
pass.
Ron Smith.
Yeah.
Ron Smith.
Oh,
actually, Vince did not throw the first touchdown pass. Our halfback, Lawrence McCutcheon, the great one, threw it to Ron Smith there in the end zone. It was a special.
And you
day,
guys have stayed in touch over the years with the players that are still around and everything. That was a nice core group of people, and you guys seem to have that camaraderie
Freddie
still
Dryer,
to this game.
Jack Youngblood, Cody Jones.
Yeah. We were a close-knit team.
Yeah, Hacksaw Reynolds, Jim Youngblood, Brzezinski, Pat
veterans.
Thomas. The list goes on and on, man. Yeah. Rod Perry, Dave Elmendorf. I mean, we had some
veteran players, young players. We had a great mixture.
Rich Saul. We had some guys. I'm telling you right now. We had
all available
great
for
leaders.
Substitution if needed this week. Let me tell you. Now let's get into your Rams because they are going to be playing this weekend after their big 20-17 win over the Bears. What a game. It looked cold. The next day, I saw a weatherman out there in Chicago on Lake Michigan. It was something like 6 degrees. I don't know if it was that cold during the actual game because they kept that field in pretty good shape. I don't know if they got heaters on the field or whatever, but that was a crazy game.
It really was. Again, Jackie, determined by the defense. I mean, so many of these games have been influenced by how well your defense plays in critical situations. The Rams defense actually made the plays at the end of the game to win it, to seal it away with the interceptions. But there were some miraculous plays as well. And so that's what you expect in some of these big-time games with big-time players. And, Caleb Williams making that miraculous throw at the end of regulation and actually should have won the game. I believe a lot of it comes down to some of these aggressive calls by the coaches, more confidently, arrogantly confident, and thinking, well, it's 4th down, I can make the 1st down. Well, you know what? On your first drive of a game, I've always been a believer in scoring points. I've had my chance on 3rd down. If I come up short, let's kick the field goal. Let's put points on the board. 2nd time down, I get 4th down. Oh, I might go for it then. But I need to get points. And I think if they would have kicked that opening field goal, they would have won the game at the end of the game. So the Rams, rather be lucky than good, walked away. And, after that overtime drive, 3 and out, I thought the Bears are moving the ball down the field. But
it didn't look good for a while, quite a while.
Didn't work out.
Sean McVay, I've read recently where he is kicking himself for not calling a better game than he did. And he said he'd be better, and he always has backed up what he said. He did a great job of preparing the team to go in there and deal with the cold weather. I didn't see a whole bunch of guys bundled all up like they were freezing and all of that. I saw guys coming out with their sleeves out. I'm sure they were warm underneath, but they had no sleeves and they could move. They were guys moving around. I didn't see any problems with that at all. The thing that I think Sean is upset about is the fact that he probably didn't run the football as much as he would like to have done it, or perhaps should have done it. Because when you think about it, the Rams had 11 drives in this game, counting the kneel down. 11 drives. Now, 4 of those drives ended up with 3 and outs. And then 4 of those drives ended up with 6 yards or less. Okay? But the 2 scoring drives, which was the first drive of the game and the first drive in the 4th quarter, they rushed the ball 4 times for 18 yards in that first drive. They scored a touchdown. And then in that first drive in the 4th quarter, they ran it 7 times for 29 yards, and they scored a touchdown. So if there's anything that he's probably regretting, it has been the thing that I have said all along with him sometimes, that he gets a little bit happy and a little bit carried away with his ability to come up with unique routes and unique schemes against the way they play their defenses to hurt them in the passing game. And, you got to do that. I appreciate that about him. That's special. But there ain't nothing wrong with ever hitting a defensive lineman right in the lips and knocking him off the football and making him respect that running game as well. I'll always feel that way about that.
Mike, Jackie's always been a firm believer in the running game, but I think Sean McVay made the right decisions most of the game. The only thing he should have made Chicago pay for their blitz. earlier in the game because they were having success with it and throw those side adjustments. But you know what? Ben Johnson didn't make the right decisions at the time that it mattered. And that design for that interception was to the wrong players. It was a wrong design play. And that's what hurt them in the end, and that's made the difference in the game.
Grab yourself some Harmony cheese and mull that one over, because we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we hope you have your order in at harmonycheese.com. Don't forget to email us onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint at Championship Radio Network, crntalk.com, and go to our website, onpointlive.net. This is On Point Live with Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. We will return. Stay right here with us. We are back with On Point Live. I'm Michael Horn, along with our producer Corey Marino, and the stars of our show, Vince Ferragamo and Jackie Slater. Jackie, let's pull it over to you. This last week's game here, Seattle annihilated the 49ers. It wasn't much of a game, 41-6. What did you see?
Well, the first thing I saw was a lot of great defense. And, when you think about it, their head coach is a defensive-oriented guy. Their assistant head coach is a defensive-oriented guy. They're going to play good defense. And that is the thing that you have to be able to do in the playoffs, in addition to running the football, I believe, to give yourself a chance to not only win those games, but if you play well in those two departments, you're probably going to dominate those games, believe it or not, even in the National Football League. The Seattle defense, they were dominant. They had 3 turnovers, 2 sacks, and it just really Sam Darnold, he even though he got a little bit nicked up, he was consistent in his performance as the leader of that football team. I just when I think about a guy like Cooper Kupp, and I look at Smith Njigma, that young wide receiver there, Cooper Kupp. He was the leading receiver. I think he had 5 receptions for 60 yards. Now, not only is this guy still capable of making big-time plays in big-time games, but he has helped that passing game up there, so much so that it concerns me as the Rams get ready to play the Seattle Seahawks. It concerns me because Cooper Kupp knows as much about the way Sean McVay thinks as anybody. And if Sean McVay gets away from the way he thinks, and Cooper Kupp is not able to take advantage of him, he's probably going to be playing at his weakness. He's probably going to be doing things that he's not comfortable with, that he hasn't done successfully the whole time. So this game for me is going to be I can't wait to see it, because I know what Cooper Kupp brings to the table, just like I know what Sean McVay brings to the table.
Vince, what do you think?
Well, Seahawks in their last 2 games against the Rams, no sacks on the quarterback.
Not a one.
And they've had 46 sacks on all the other teams. So if they expect to win, they're going to have to pressure the quarterback. And you have the defensive head coach, who's defensive-minded, Mike McDonald, Leslie Frazier. These guys have putting together a really important defensive package that they have the defense to do it. And this is the team to beat, to go to the Super Bowl. And the Rams know it. The Rams, luckily, are very familiar with the Seahawks, and they play well in Seattle,
right,
except the last time they didn't win up there.
Right.
But historically, they played well in Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's going to boil down to mistake-free football. What other team is going to be able to take care of the football? And I think Sam Darnold is going to have to get the ball to his receivers. And Cooper Kupp, as you mentioned, Jackie, gives them an extra added bonus when it comes to planning and attacking the defense. He's been with this team. He knows it, and it's going to really enter into this.
That's one other thing before we move on from here, is that you and I have known all of our lives. We played with the dynamic Henry Ellard as a punt returner. We played with the dynamic Ron Brown as a kickoff returner. Guys who went to the Pro Bowl simply because they were punt returners and kickoff returners. Well, this guy Rashid Shaheed, he opens the game with a game-opening kickoff return. And if you remember, he had a punt return in the game where they beat the Rams the last time for a touchdown.
He's electric, Jackie.
When we talk about the 3 phases of the game, Mike, offense, defense, and special teams. Right now, when you think about an offensive plus, you have to look at the Seattle Seahawks and Shaheed as an offensive plus. And not only him as a returner, but the guys that are supporting him, because they all know that if they get their blocks made, this guy can take it all the way.
Well, the Rams are kind of battle tested here. They're the number 5 seed going up against the number 1 seed, the Seahawks. And it's going to be played in Seattle. They're pretty noisy up there. What do you see for the championship game this weekend?
Well, that's, you know what, the special teams has been vital in a lot of these championship games that we've seen in the past, with block punts, with block field goals, with interception returns, these kind of plays. And, you know, Seattle is that type of team. So they have the best special teams in football. And so the Rams are going to have to make up for it with their offense and their defense.
With
That's
their
all
offense,
I can see.
Especially with their offense, because, you know, they got to score points. But, Vince, you know, the things that we always say is that, you know, you got to be good in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and, of course, special teams. Right. But you also got to be able to run the ball. Yeah, you also have to be able to have a high third down percentage completion to support that running game, and you got to be able to stop the run.
They don't have Charbonnet, though, Jackie. Is that going to hurt the Seattle Seahawks a little bit?
I think it's going to be critical, but they got other guys.
They got backups. Yeah, they got Kenneth Walker, and they got another backup.
And not only that, Vince, the thing that concerns me is they're not always throwing the ball 15 to 20 yards down the field. They're dinking and dunking the ball off. They're just concerned about getting the first downs, kind of like what Sean McVay does. And to me, this is the biggest challenge I think the Rams could have in the postseason. Mm-hmm. I think Sean McVay is going to right all the wrongs that he feels, that the mistakes that he made in this past game.
Is that going to make a difference, though, if he rights the wrongs?
I think he will. I think
he
will,
Vince. Different team than the Bears.
When they run the football, they're going to be successful. He's got his offensive lineman. He's got his right guard back now. If he can feature that guy in the right tackle and feature the left side some in the running game, I give the Rams.
Well, you can't cover JSN and Cooper Kupp both. So one of those guys, just like you can't cover Puka Nacua.
But Vince, what about the quarterback, Sam Darnold's got maybe an oblique injury, slight possibly?
He's got an oblique injury.
Yeah, he played okay last week with an oblique. I mean, that's correctable before the game.
I wish I could speak on an oblique. I've had just about every other injury you could have.
It's throwing. You got to have that looseness. But you know what? He can throw the ball. I mean, it's not going to be. It's his mental capacity. And Clint Kubiak, watch how he game plans for Sam Darnold this week.
But
if they get him on staff and he gets high performance from his quarterback, it's going to be tough for the Rams.
All right, now this is the other thing, right quick. Jerry Verse is going to have to. Jerry Verse is a.
They're going to chip him, Jackie.
He's a vocal leader.
They're not going to let him come unaffected.
He's still a young guy. Now, Young on the other side is a little bit nicked up and everything, but I think he'll be all right. But Jerry Verse needs to step up. He's
going to have to run past 2 guys every time.
I don't care. They can't double him every single time.
And they're going to have to.
And if they do, some of these other guys on the inside are going to have to come up with some. This guy is going to have to generate some pass rush. Jared Verse is capable of being an impactful pass rusher in this game, and I full well expect him to do it.
All right, let's look at this Bronco game. 33 for them, 30 for the Bills. Little crying match at the end there. Josh Allen kind of crying in the post-game report. Bo Nix might be, too, because he's out now. He's got an injury. Your thoughts on this one, Jackie?
Well, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, what can you say? You turn the football over 4 times, you don't have a snowball's chance in Hades of winning the ball game. I don't know why he was taking it so hard, because they turned the football over. I knew he was aware of the fact that, he can't be turning the football over. But some of those turnovers, Vance, especially the fumbles, he was trying to make plays like he has all the time. He just didn't secure the ball. So I can understand, his frustration. And that was the thing that was disheartening to me, to see him, because this was his legitimate shot at getting to the Super Bowl and perhaps winning it, because for the last 2 years it's been the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. He can't get past those 2 quarterbacks, and this was supposed to be his year, and then look what happens. Boom, he gets nipped in the bud. So I feel bad for him, but
I felt bad too, Jackie.
Now he's got to start all over next year with a new coach.
Oh my, Josh
you
Allen.
Feel bad, Vince, do you, for Jarrett Stidham having to play in the Mile High Stadium? What do you think?
No, he's a very capable quarterback. Yeah, okay. And let me tell you something.
How pray tell would you know that if he hadn't thrown the ball in 2 years?
Well, I've seen him in preseason before, Jackie. So he's a quality quarterback. You just have Bo Nix. You're never going to get a chance to get in there with him. But The best play caller in football is Sean Payton, without a doubt. He's the best, most prolific play caller there is. In that first drive against Buffalo, there was nothing that you could stop. Every play was designed perfectly at the right time, with the right motion, the right formations. Nothing was repetitive. Basic formation to run the football. His running game has been very good this year, and it's the reason why Bo's played so well. But they're not going to have Bo Nix in this playoff game against New England. That is critical. As good as Jared Stidham is, he's not Bo Nix. I'm just saying.
I agree with that, what you just said, Vince, but don't overlook the two components that have to be in place to support even Bo Nix or whoever it might be. You've got to be able to run the football.
Well,
and you got to be able to play good defense.
They can do both those.
They can do both of those at a very, very high level.
But you still need the playmaker,
yeah,
Jackie,
I
make
agree.
the biggest difference in the biggest games.
I agree, but
you got to be able to throw that ball.
We won a few games with the likes of Jeff Kemp around here as well, you know.
Yeah, but never a championship game.
All right, let's look at the Patriots, Vince. 28, the Texans 16. You like that Drake May? He seems to be good going into the weekend here. Let's talk about this game first, and then look at the matchup between the Patriots and Denver.
Well, again, coaching is critical in these games. DeMeco Ryans done a great job with that defense. For the Houston Texans, they were ferocious. They came in and knocked them every way.
They did,
and they kept him in the pocket until at the end of the game they started to roll him out a little bit and do a little dashing and roll, which got him away from that pressure. But he's capable of doing anything. And Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel deserve a lot of credit, Jackie. They've turned this team around from a 3-14 team to a 14-3 team in the playoffs, ready to go to the Super Bowl. With defense first, then offense, then correcting the quarterback and correcting his mistakes and developing him along the way with players you don't even have never heard of. The only one you can hear of is their wide receiver. And so Diggs. And so, we're at the point now where, mistakes are critical. But again, making plays when you have to, that's where it's all at.
That's where it's all at.
So, Jackie, you're looking ahead to the AFC Championship game this weekend. You got number 2 Patriots going up against the Broncos in Denver. Bo Nix is out. Your thoughts?
Well, this was the issue that we were talking about earlier, where we're going to have to be watching, the officiating because of perhaps some unscrupulous, dealings, because they want to handpick who's going to be playing in the championship. I disagree with that. I don't think we have to worry about that. I think that what we're going to see is two teams putting their best foot forward with the people that they have in place to do their job. I remember, Vince, having played with 21 different quarterbacks. I remember the good coaches that I had over the years, and one of the guys that come to mind is Ernie Zampese, who many people feel like is the father to much of what's going on in the passing game in the NFL. This guy knew how to put his quarterback, whoever it was, in a position to be successful. He knew what his best plays were. He knew what his best throws were, where he was most capable, and he put him in a position to be successful. In addition to loading the pressure up on everybody around him. You take 5 guys that weigh over 320 pounds apiece, and you tell those men, hey, you are commissioned to win this ball game in the running attack, and this is how we're going to do it. And you lay out a nice rushing attack for those big guys up front, and I can tell you, they respond. And if you want anybody responding to try to win football games, you want 5 300-plus pound men all headed in the same direction, and you can win games that way.
Well, you got 30 seconds to tell us what your thoughts are.
I feel sorry for Josh Allen because he missed 2 passes that he's never going to gain any sleep over the next 6 months. And, he overthrew with tight end. He underthrew another wide receiver that could have made a difference in the game. But one of the best, prettiest passes I've seen all year was Drake May's pass to Boutte in that last game, that one-handed catch. In a falling snowstorm. And it was just picture of beauty.
It was.
All right, let us know your thoughts. Email us onpoint@crntalk.com, onpoint@crntalk.com. Get yourself some great Harmony cheese for the big games coming up this weekend. They'll mail it to your door. HarmonyCheese.com, Harmony, HARMONY cheese.com. And check our website out, onpointlive.net. Wrapping it up on OnPoint Live. I'm Michael Horn with our producer Corey Marino. The stars of our show, Jackie Slater and Vince Ferragamo. So let's take a look at some openings for coaching. You guys are available, I think, because there's a lot of openings still there. What the Titans, Giants, Falcons, and Dolphins have all filled positions now, correct, Jackie?
Yes, they have. The Tennessee Titans have hired defensive coordinator from the 49ers, Robert Saleh. And, of course, John Harbaugh has gone to the Giants under his terms. In other words, he doesn't need any general managers between he and ownership. He's just about ironed that all out. Kevin Stefanski, he jumps down to the Atlanta Falcons. And then Jeff Hafley, who is going to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Never been a head coach before, but he was just an outstanding defensive coordinator at Green Bay, and the new general manager there has brought him on. So it's going to be interesting to see how he works out down in Miami.
Vince Ferragamo, what do you see? Who's going to go to some of these other teams? The Bills, Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Cardinals, Raiders.
Well, there's 10 different coaching changes this year, probably the most in NFL history.
And 6 of them weren't even finished.
Right, I know, but who are the coaches that always go somewhere else? It's either the San Francisco 49ers or the LA Rams, right?
That's right.
And now Robert Saleh is back coaching, a head coach, and the season's not over for the Rams yet. So wait about Mike Shula.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other coaches that are lined up. They're waiting to see what happens.
The pass game coordinator, Shieldhouse, is the short man.
That's
short
another
on the short
one.
list for people.
That's right. He's another player, coach. So, I mean, there's so many changes, Mike. And, you know, the last unfortunate thing, the last 2 MVPs that have won the quarterback MVP for the NFL, they lost their head coach this year, John Harbaugh and Sean McDermott.
Wow. All right, time for Handicapper's Corner. We got a couple of games going up at noon this weekend. You got Denver being played in Denver and New England. What do you think, Vince?
Well, you have Mike going to get Sean and Mike going to get Sean. So Mike McDermott, not Mike McDermott, but Mike Vrabel, I think is going to win that, New England. And I think Mike McDonald's going to beat Sean McVay.
Well,
I'm going with the Mikes.
I'm going with New England simply because they're going against a team that doesn't have a starting back that has played in a while.
I like New England, Corey.
Corey obviously
I'm going with the Broncos.
He likes the Broncos.
Yeah,
Rams, Seattle at 3:30. Jackie, who do you like?
Absolutely. The Rams are going to go up there and thump them real good.
I'm with you, Vince.
Well, you're with me, too. Okay, Mike. Well, we're going with the defense. Right?
McVay's going to right all the wrong.
I'm going with the Rams.
All right, there we have it. Good stuff. Don't forget HarmonyCheese.com, our sponsor. Want to remind you something we always say here when you're talking to somebody. And what is that, gentlemen?
Stay on point.
On point.